Diwali or Deepavali is a festival of lights. It's celebrated in various parts of India. There are different stories behind the festival depending on the region, but many of them are focused on celebrating the win of goodness over evil and cruelty. The other common theme between the celebrations is food and family. People make a lot of different kinds of foods, snacks, savories, sweets, and get together and exchange those. The get togethers also mean there will be a big spread for dinner, lots of dishes that people don't cook on an everyday basis. So here is the sample menu that you can use whether it is for a Diwali dinner or any Indian themed dinner. Let's start with some Gobi Masala, which is a whole roasted cauliflower that is coated in this creamy, luscious makhani sauce. The whole head of the cauliflower is first blanched so that it's almost three quarters of the way cooked. Then you make the sauce, which has onion, ginger, garlic, chili, tomatoes, all cooked with a bunch of spices. You can add the cashews while the tomatoes are cooking down so that the cashews soften. And then when you blend the whole mixture, it'll be very creamy. Blend the sauce with some non-dairy milk and then pour over your cauliflower, which is placed in a baking dish. Then bake until the sauce thickens and the cauliflower is cooked to preference. Then slice up the cauliflower and serve with more sauce on the side. The sauce is incredibly delicious and versatile. There are comments on the post every time I post it where people say that they'll eat a dirty sponge. I don't know why. If they put this sauce on it. So, you definitely want to make this. The next dish you can add to your spread is butter tofu or tofu butter masala, which is basically your butter chicken sauce with tofu. Usually you make it with paneer, which is cheese, but I'm using some tofu which has been spiced, baked, and then added to this sauce. For the sauce, you blend up some tomatoes and ginger into a really smooth puree and then cook that with garlic and some spices. Then you add in your baked tofu and some cashew cream or any other non-dairy cream that you want to use, some julienne fresh ginger, green chili, and kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves. All of these three take this dish to the next level and simmer it for a while and serve. One of the traditions that we follow during Diwali is a house cleanup. My mom would clean up the entire house from one end to the other. All the cupboards, cabinets, everything would be taken out, cleaned up, put back in, rearranged, everything dusted, the ceilings clean, sofas clean, everything was spotless and shiny. Then she would take out the new clay diyas and add cotton wicks to them and oil and put them everywhere around the house. The cleanup and the diyas is to invite Goddess Lakshmi into the house. Goddess Lakshmi brings with her not just wealth but knowledge, love, and compassion. The freshly cleaned kitchen often gets dirtied up again because there is a lot of cooking through the days of Diwali, a lot of savory snacks, a lot of elaborate meals. And back to today's menu. Homestyle gobi aloo is a dry cauliflower potato side kind of dish, but restaurants usually add a sauce to it. This is the restaurant version where we're baking the cauliflower and potatoes instead of frying and then adding to a delicious onion and tomato sauce. The double spicing and the caramelized onion add an amazing flavor to this gobi aloo. If you add raw vegetables to the sauce directly and cook them in the sauce for a long while, the flavor of the vegetables overpowers the sauce. So if you want more of the spice punch or the sauce flavor punch like you get in restaurants, you always pre-cook your vegetables or lentils or tofu before adding to the sauce. You just simmer it in the end for a few minutes. This next one is the lentil curry casserole. This is like a modified dal makhani, which is also baked in a casserole dish, which is my new way of cooking Indian food these days because it takes away all of the active time that you need to spend in the kitchen just caramelizing your onions. The onion, garlic, ginger, oil, and spices are added to the casserole dish and baked. Baking evaporates the moisture from the onions quickly and also caramelizes them evenly. Then you just add in some tomato puree, the lentils that you want to cook, some water or non dairy milk, just coconut milk, and then bake again until the lentils are cooked to your preference. and then top it with some more coconut cream or other non-dairy cream and serve. In my last year's Diwali menu video, I added my regular naan recipe. I'll link that recipe below, but in this menu today, I am adding my gluten-free naan recipe, which is super easy with just a few ingredients. It's chickpea flour, some non-dairy yogurt, spices, and water made into a really thick batter. Then you spread it over parchment sheet, top it with some oil, and bake. Since this is a gluten-free recipe, you want to cover the naans with a parchment lightly on top and then bake to preserve the moisture in the naan. Gluten-free flours tend to leak moisture a lot during baking, so you want to keep the moisture in during baking by various different methods. We also need a good rice side with the whole spread, so in today's menu, I'm giving you the turmeric cauliflower rice. That kind of makes this whole menu grain-free. I have several rice sides on the blog. I'll list a few in the description below, or you can just make a simple cumin spiced white rice and serve that on the side. For this cauliflower rice, we cook the mustard seeds and curry leaves in oil, then add in the onion, cook them to golden, add in turmeric and other spices that you like, add in your freshly grated cauliflower, mix really well, steam it for just a few minutes, and it's done. The festivities of Diwali cannot be complete without desserts. Indian desserts are often dairy heavy and use dairy in various forms. Every year, I veganize a bunch of Indian desserts and put them on the blog. This year, I have some Rabri, which is a thickened milk pudding, and some date sweetened wheat atta laddus. Laddus usually have a lot of ghee, which is clarified butter, a flour like wheat or chickpea flour, and then a ton of sugar. But these laddus use dates instead. And I also have a fabulous rasmalai tres luscious cake for you. All of these recipes are linked in the description below, along with my master list of mains and sides that you can use to plan your menu and dessert options already on the blog. For more Indian desserts, you can check out my first cookbook, Vegan Richa's Indian Kitchen, which is available everywhere. My third cookbook is coming out next year and it's available for pre-order. Happy Diwali, you guys, and have a safe and fabulous rest of the year.